Hey guys, I got some ratio tuners to replace the Klutzen style on my McCarty S2. Gonna put them on in a second. So I got this McCarty S2, I don't know, about a year ago, and it has the regular old school Klutzen Les Paul looking tuners, and they are not locking. And as you can see, I wound them pretty decent. I barely even have a wound on this one, but I want to down tune it and maybe even tune it in a half step flat sometimes, and it's really tough to have it without locking tuners. So I got these ratio tuners and I'm lining the product out now. I'm about to follow the directions maybe and put them on. All right, so I unscrewed this first one. I just used a little bitty small tip Phillips and unscrewed those two screws. It leaves this bushing in there though, so it looks like, if you can see that, it's trying to get in. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of stuck in there. I'm going to use the flat part of a flat screwdriver tip and kind of knock that out from the bottom. I'll lay it face down like that. I'll change that out to one of those flat, or maybe even a square tip, something that's less likely to scratch this up, and tap that out. All right, those bushings are extremely hard to get out of there. I tried to pound with the tip of that flat and no luck at all. It's very tight. So what I did, I put one of these ratio tuners in there. It's got a little beveled part, and I have been tapping with this, and I got, if you can see it from under here, I got that bushing to come out just a little bit. You see that? It's about the thickness of a dime. So now I can probably use the tip of some vice grips or something and pull it the rest of the way out. But they're hard to get out, extremely hard to get out. Packed in there really good. So I'll get that vice grips and try to pull that from the other side without scratching it too much. All right, so I had to get back in there and knock that thing a little bit harder with that, the ratio part, but I ended up getting it out quite a bit here, as you can see. So now I'll be able to use my pliers and not vice grips and get that pulled the rest of the way, and just enough clearance where I can not scratch the surface up. But that's hard to get out. As you can see, it's got grooves in there that help it bite the inside of that wood. So I had to really use those and knock them pretty hard, harder than I showed you earlier. All right, I do want to note, I'm glad that I looked a little more into this before I started, but it's very important. I looked at the sheet about the ratio and all of the science about why these are better for your strings, as far as being the ratios of 20, 24, 39, etc. to 1. Just makes it easier for the string according to its corresponding diameter. If you don't want to read all that and delve into that, just realize that these things are numbered. So right here, there's a 1, and there's a 2, you barely can see it, and there's a 3. You have to put those on in the corresponding spots of your 1 through 6 strings on your guitar. So don't mess that up. Just look on the bottom where it says ratio, and make sure the 1 goes into the high E position and the 6 goes into the low E position accordingly, and you'll have the ratios correct. Okay, so I got those Klutzen styles, Klutzen, whatever you call them. You can tell it kind of looks like the same shape as the one that you're going to use. There's a ton of them. There's a stack of them that they send to correspond to your, and you can see the outline of it right there where the edge is, and it lines up pretty good. Let's see, see if I can get it there. Yeah. And see, and then that piece is I'm gonna stick that tuner in there, and the two screw holes on the ends are where the screw will go in. I'm gonna use the screws that I may use the screws that I pulled out. Either way, those 2 holes that are left right there that are not the screw holes, that is where those divots, I don't know if you can see them, but the divots fit in them so that this doesn't spin. So I'll try to show you in a second what I mean. All right, so as you can see, I went ahead and put this mounting bracket here in place. You want those 2 holes to be toward the top because that is where, let me flip this over, you can see it better. Those 2 dots by the post are gonna stick in. So what happens is put it in place, those 2 teeth grab the mounting plate and it won't spin from underneath. I'm gonna stick that washer on first and then screw this piece in with that 10mm socket. And so you don't have to get these screws. These are, I had to use their screws, by the way, because mine that came with the original, they were too fat to go through that aluminum die, this bracket. So they were too thick for it and I don't want to strip it out. So I use these 2 small screws and they're good enough. It's snug, it doesn't have to be ultra tight. It's just to keep this from rotating. Once it gets into place, it won't spin. It'll be snug after I get those bottom pieces on. Okay. All right, so I got that piece in place. And so from the top here, I'm just gonna, again, I put that washer down and I put this screw in place. I'm just gonna snug this with my 10mm. You don't wanna go too much, just. There we go. That should be enough for that. And there we go. It's not gonna rotate at all. I'll do all the others and show you the finished product. It has instructions for if your plates don't match up of the choices they have, but mine did. And there's all 6 of them in place. Now time to restring. And there they are. I've got all 6 of them put on. They look really nice. I think they do anyways. They stay in tune super well. And whenever I'm turning like the low E or even any of them really, I guess that ratio thing is what makes it easy and stays. I don't overturn it, I don't underturn it. It seems to be super easy to get it into pitch. And I've put these strings needed to be stretched. So I put them on here and I've been giving them a nice little time to sit here and get stretched out and the neck to get, it's kind of cold here now where I live. And so I've had to tune these up a couple of times, but I don't think it's the tuners are slipping. I mean, I barely have a wind in them, as you can tell, because they're locking tuners. So I got these things snugged pretty well, and I like them. I'm going to give them a freaking thumbs up, man. I think they look good. Very nice. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.